Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the vlog. My name is Matthew. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram at MSJ_4times or at Cheetah Productions. And today we're going to be replacing the Shift Interlock Solenoid on the Trailblazer SS. Let's get into it. Just at the time frame wise, this happened shortly after I got the Trailblazer stolen. So after I got the car stolen, I was having trouble consistently taking out the key, and I thought it was because of this being broken, but it wasn't. After a while, did some research and found that you had to like wiggle the shifter in order for it to come out, and which is true. So I'll submit a video or enter in a little clip of what I'm talking about right now. All right, so here's my key. Yeah, it's still broken from last time or when I got it stolen, but it normally works. But as you can tell, I could turn on the car, which I don't want to keep doing right now, but I can't pull the key back unless I shift this. And before I was moving it forward and back, but now if I just move it side to side a little bit, it comes out. That's what I have going on. So that normally is what happens. So obviously right now I'm able to take it out just fine, works good, but in other times I can't turn it just like you guys saw in that video. So yeah, what we have to do is remove the center console. So let's go ahead and remove everything inside here, clean this up, and I'll show you guys exactly how to pull out the center console. And then we will go ahead and add this piece in. It's supposed to be just 2 screws, so it should be fairly straightforward. This is going to be the time-consuming part, is finding all the screws and everything like that. So let's go ahead and dive into that. All right, now that we got everything cleaned up and removed, first things first, we're going to use a Torx 15 to remove this screw right here. Now I know this isn't the same for all Trailblazers, but I feel positive saying it's the same for 2016, or sorry, not 2016, from 2006 to 2009 Trailblazers. So go ahead and remove that first. All right, now that I got the Torx screw removed from here, I'm gonna go ahead and use one of the silicone pieces to hold all my screws. Keep it inside there, and now we need to remove this portion. I already started it, got in there with my fingers, but as you can see, it's held on by 4 little clips on each side, so you could get a small little flat head and just pry it in on all sides, and you should be able to pop it up. All right, and once you got this removed, this literally just slides right up and comes right off. Careful not to pull too hard so you don't rip apart these wires. This ripped not too long ago, but all you need to do is disconnect this connector and you'll be all set to have this off to the side. So I just want to confirm on mine, I did have this whole shifter serviced shortly after I got the car, and it doesn't look correct to me. There's supposed to be a connector that goes into this piece right here, so another black piece that slides right in, but it looks like what they did when they replaced it, when they replaced everything, is they cut these wires from the connector and they attached it straight to this end piece. So I'm unable to actually remove these. I could cut them and then just resolder them again, just like I did a moment ago, or not a moment ago, but whenever this happened. But in the meantime, I just want to see how far I'm able to lift up this to get to the solenoid. But if I do, I am going to have to cut these and then obviously use some heat shrink and solder them all over again. But ideally and realistically, I should have a connector piece that you're able to remove from this end, and then this will be separate. Having this connected will actually prevent me from removing the entire center console, because essentially this would have to fit through here, but it's not. So let's see how far I could get. All right, next step is removing these two bolts that are 7 millimeters. You might need a little extension. After we remove those two, you're gonna open this up and we're gonna remove these 6 screws. 2 right there, 2 down there, I'm missing 1, and then 2 right up here. All right, once you got all 6 screws removed, this literally just slides right up. Also, just to keep in mind, those 2 top screws hold this the cover in place, so this would also just come right out. Now with that out the way, you do have 2 additional screws or bolts, one right here that are also 7 millimeter. So let's go ahead and remove those. All right, so with those 2 bolts being removed, this is now loose and ready to be removed. But before you'd want to do that, you want to also disconnect the connectors, and that's implying that you have like rear controls like I do. So you'd want to disconnect this one right here, and I believe this should be all set to just pull up and lift out. I'm gonna see if I could avoid trying to do all that, specifically because this is still attached, but essentially that's what you're gonna want to do. Disconnect that, and then you should be able to pull this straight up at an angle, and that will come off, obviously come right up. But let's see if I could disconnect that connector really quick. All right, I just had the hardest time removing this connector right here, and if you guys haven't done it, it's probably going to be tough for you guys too. So let me show you exactly what I did. I showed you guys a moment ago when it was still connected that you're able to lift this up a little bit, right? So I was able to lift it up, and then what you're going to want to do is this connector right here, obviously attached to this piece, is attached to this little holder, and what it is, it slides on just like that. That's all it is, just sliding on. So I came into the back, I lifted this up a little bit, and I grabbed it from the inside. I pulled it towards me. Obviously there's like a little clip right here. That little fin right there goes inside this black clip. So you're gonna have to push this in with a flathead or pull this part out. This kind of bends a little bit. So I got a flathead, stuck it in there, pulled it towards me and lifted it up. And in order to release this connector from here, what you're gonna have to do is, gives you little instructions right there. I don't know if you guys can see them. You press down these 2 ends, and then you're able to release this. So if I press those down, I'll be able to pull that all the way back. And once it's all the way back, this just slides right out. Keep that in mind. The next thing you would do is obviously you lift this up and pull it all the way out. Obviously I can't because of this, and look, this connector just came undone. Whatever, I'll just throw it back in. But yeah, I'm actually gonna see if I could just rip out the other one and then take it from there. Granted, I don't want to lose my traction control, but if I could rip it out, I could just, not rip it out, just kind of wiggle it out. I'll be able to force it back in a little bit. And then we'll be able to get to the solenoid. And would you look at that, those connectors just came out. So I'm gonna be able to lift this up from the back and drag it out. Let's do it. All right, so we got the new one right here. This is where the old one's at. You got 2, I think they're Torx 15 screws. One's right there, one's on the other side. Unplug this and it should just slide right out. All right, also just to show you guys, it's a really tight fit. This one's fairly straightforward, but the bolt that's back there, I had to use, once again, my tool from iFixit, because I didn't have like an extension socket or just anything else to really use to really get inside there. So I had to use this. So it was able to loosen up the screw on this one right here, but I wasn't able to grab it and pull it out. So I had to put my hand and my finger on the side here. I had to push it up, and then I had to use some needle nose pliers to pull it out. I'm having a hard time removing this, so I just wanted to eliminate all that. And now that I have that removed, it seems like it just slides right out. And that's pretty much that. I'm gonna go ahead and install this one and just reverse the whole process and put everything back the way it was. All right, side note, now that I actually look at this, like, I don't think this is supposed to come off. I just think mine's broken. So, hey, if it doesn't come off, it doesn't come off, but mine did. All right, we got everything back together, and of course, I turned on the car, turned it off, tested out the traction control, and that worked. So it's pretty much all done. So, as you guys know, this was happening for ongoing for a couple years now, and only recently it started progressively getting worse and worse. So with that being said, now that I changed that one component, yeah, I'm gonna give it a week. Now I'm probably gonna give it 2 weeks. If it doesn't happen again in 2 weeks where I'm unable to successfully take out the key, I'm gonna say that was the resolution, that's what I needed, and I'll be happy. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this vlog.